there's just nothing that's going to stop me or slow me down. I'm going to build like 15 businesses at once. It was the most empty, deflating moment imaginable because I set that massive goal out for myself and then it was gone.
Do you ever get worried you'll just like be on this continuous cycle of breaking goals and not being satisfied with any of them?
I don't think that's why I set my next goal on the moon. My goal is to build the company big enough to buy the Denver Nuggets.
Are you able to do all of this while also raising a family?
In life, we're all juggling multiple balls. 4 of them are rubber and 1 of them is glass. They're very easy to identify between your work, your faith, your health. 1 of them was family. 4 of them will bounce right back. If you drop your work ball, it'll bounce right back. You drop your faith ball, God will always be there for you. You drop that family ball, that's a glass one. You drop it, it shatters, it's done.
How do you think about the way you grew up, what impact that has had?
There was no baby talk ever. It was, from a young age, find a skill, bet on it. Just go obsess over one thing and put your damn blinders on and don't try and do 11 things. Just don't have fear on approaching anyone. Just don't be afraid to take risks. I see way too many people taking that base level entry, safe, cushy job. It just feels like a trap.
Welcome on the podcast, Mitchell.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Or also goes by Mitch, short. But you've built 3 Point Mortgage, very successful entrepreneur, family man, and we met at business school, which was great.
Business school.
But I want to lead into you founding 3 Point Mortgage. We just had a big celebration with your logo launch party. And one of the things that stood out to me the most was how community involved it was. Like everyone there cared about everyone there was on board with it. Everyone there was really happy to be there.
Yeah.
It was like, we're doing great stuff, we're going to keep doing it, we're going to build it bigger. So I'm curious if you ever knew that was going to happen, the huge community that you built, and if so, how did you do that?
No, and I love it, man, because when I first kind of founded it, I took a very, very hard approach on making sure that, culture is everything to us. Like, culture is one of the most important things that we can possibly have because it's, I don't know if you guys have seen this Simon Sinek talk about his time with the Navy SEALs.
Nope.
So he said you could think of like an XY axis with like trust and performance. And, performance, there's 1,000 different ways to measure it. There's almost no ways to measure trust. They basically said it was like would I trust this person with my wife and kids?
Yep.
So very easy. Nobody wants low performance, low trust. Everybody wants high performer, high trust. But what they really found in the SEALs, the high performer, low trust is a toxic team member. So the Navy SEALs would even take that or medium performer, high trust, sometimes even low performer, high trust over that high performer. So it's, that really kind of resonated with me. And Cassie in our office was the one who, when we first kind of launched this, she was, employee number 5 or number 6, something like that. And she told me when we were interviewing, she was like, you probably said the word culture like 12 times in the first hour of our interview. And she's like, I couldn't understand what that really meant of just like, I guess like no weirdos in the office. Like, what does that really understand? And now she kind of said like, it just goes so much deeper than, it just having good people there. She was like, I even like when everybody brings their spouses around,
Yep.
She's like, everybody, it just has that energy where it's there's no assholes in the room.
Yep.
And that's such an amazing thing where it's like, we've all, and that was the last piece of Simon Sinek where he was just like, every office has an asshole. If you don't think they are, you're the asshole. He was like, and they're very, very easy to pick out. He's like, walk into it and say, who's the asshole? And everybody will point at one person. And we truly don't have that here. And that's why
you could be the asshole.
I know. It might be me. But that's why when we have a celebration like that, I mean, it's so funny. Like, we were anticipating, we're like, are we going to have like 50 people here? Are we going to have like 60 people? Like, crap, what if only like 20 people come? We got way too much pizza. And then it turns out we ended up having to order pizza like 3 more times.
Yep.
We ended up having like over 200 people show up, which is, it's so humbling. It's just so much fun, honestly, building this. And it's so funny. Like even you say it, like the energy that we have that, we just put out. Everybody's been saying, I know it's the new wave of just saying the aura. but it's like everybody keeps saying that to us, and it's
You guys
just
have aura.
yeah, we have aura.
Yeah.
We were on Sean Washington, UWM. It was a funny thing. Like even he was talking to us, and he was like, "Man, like even your guys' group out there, I met you guys out there." He's like, "You guys just have a little bit of an aura about you," and it's the, I think when you have that big community of people that are all bought in on the same thing, and there's no assholes in the room.
Yep.
When they talk about aura, like that's what it is. It's everybody just working their tails off, and there's no egos.
No, yeah. And everyone wants to be involved too. Like
Yeah.
even at the party, I saw a bunch of people who don't work for you and are somehow connected to 3 Point Mortgage, and they're like, "Oh, I love 3 Point Mortgage. This is like the best company ever. They do the best service. I've never met a team like this," which is so cool.
And I love it, man. And no, I appreciate you. I appreciate you being a customer.
Yep,
But
yep.
it's like, it's not. Sometimes it is hard to do the right thing, but we just always take that high road always.
Mhm.
It's sure it costs a lot of money here and there. Taking the high road every single time, it's expensive. But
Can you give me some examples of that?
oh yeah, I mean in our industry, it's very very easy where it's like like you quote a client a rate, market moves before you have a chance to lock. You go to lock, the market shifted, rates are worse. Are you gonna call the client and be like, "I'm really sorry, it's gonna cost you like $4,800 more for that lock," or are you gonna eat the $4,800? That's for us. It's never been a question.
Yeah.
It's you eat you eat it. It sucks at times. And one thing I've really learned, I know it just comes with maturity too. But what does getting angry solve?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how does that move our vision forward? So as difficult as it can be at times, it's just and part of that I'll relay it back to basketball of just that you got to go next shot mode.
Yeah.
And it's, you know what, it is what it is. You got to move on. No sense in dwelling. And see, you win or you learn mentality, and on to the next one.
Yeah. What's your experience been like with assholes at your company?
Thankfully, at my company, we don't have any. I truly mean it from top to bottom. But at our previous company, not so many assholes. There's egos for sure.
Yeah.
And ego and asshole is a fine line.
Yeah.
It's the second that ego just gets a little bit too untethered, you just go straight into asshole.
Yeah.
It's
You threaten a little bit of the ego. They feel like they're being attacked, and then it all goes
Exactly.
to the wall.
Exactly. And even my previous shop, that I kind of grew up in, I don't really think there were any assholes in there. That's, everybody has their own quirks. It's, but it's, I've definitely heard stories of, mortgage is a dirty, slimy industry in so many ways. And I know other companies where it's like you go in there and it's a sweatshop almost of like you go in a bullpen and everybody's just screaming at you until you make your calls. And it's like if you don't make your 50, 100 calls, like they're just going to ream you and be like, you're not a culture fit here. You're lazy, whatever it is. Like, that's what the mortgage industry used to be. I don't know if you guys are young. I don't know if you've seen The Boiler Room.
No.
Great movie, but that's what a lot of sales used to be. It's just like everybody in lines of desk, everybody on a headset, just hammering the phones. Thankfully, I missed that part of the industry. Worked a fair amount out of a bullpen, but never had to really work with an asshole or, at least in the mortgage space. In my previous job, yeah, there were plenty of them, but that was at a gym. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And how do you deal with bad hires or people who come onto the team and you're like, they're not the high performer, high trust that you're looking for, creating that culture?
Well, and I think we've really kind of found like high performer, high trust, of course, like, that's the goal that we want all of them. But, we even have low performer, high trust that kind of what you said, like they love the company, they bend over backwards, they go above and beyond, they take on additional responsibilities. It's, we have people in our company that maybe they're not closing a crazy amount of loans, but then all of a sudden, like they just love everything we're doing, that they chip into other kind of places and just help out where they can. And that's why it's okay, that person might not be closing a crazy amount of loans, but now all of a sudden they're taking on all these other duties. That's an invaluable member.
Yeah.
So it's the way we've really kind of avoided bad hires. You got to put the right people in the right seats.
Yeah.
That is, I swear, our key to everything. That's our secret sauce is, Obviously when we met, I was finishing up my MBA. My partner DJ has his PhD in psychology. Josh Dutton, who joined us, he's our Colorado state leader. He's been in mortgages since like 1998 or something like that. Calvin Johnson, we call him the soul of the company. I mean, he's probably the most respected loan officer in Northern Colorado. And then Nami Pojan, he also joined us. He's younger, kind of closer to DJ and I's age. So we have a good mix of kind of the us with our younger energy and our ideas. And then we got the old veterans that we give them crap for being old, but we love them. But we actually have an absurd hiring process where it's like the first time we actually had it, DJ was actually pushing us to hire somebody. And I met with him. I was like, dude, it's a no for me.
Yeah.
And we kind of had that realization that we're like, not all money is good money. Like, we don't want every loan officer. So then it was like since we've continued hiring and we have a leadership team that we meet with our leadership team once a week. And anybody that we consider bringing on actually has to interview with myself, DJ, Nami, Calvin, and Josh. And if one person says no, it's a no.
Mm. Yeah. If one person thinks the culture is bad, they're out.
Yep. So since we've been doing that, I mean, we're knocking on the door of 40 between employees and contractors right now, and there's no assholes in the room.
That's amazing.
It's when you have to go through a 5-person ringer.
Yep.
People have given a shit that they're like, that's ridiculous. I'm like, if you think it's ridiculous, you're probably
not a good fit. Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, even in doing so, we actually we turned down a joint venture with a sizable company here in Denver. We've turned down quite a few people that were like, it's not going to be a good culture fit, and we won't sacrifice the culture for anything, because then we won't have that same energy, that same aura going into those events like we had last night. It's like then it just takes one person, and then everybody's walking on eggshells.
Yep. Once you lose, I guess it muddies the waters a little bit. Like, I remember talking to David Brown about culture, and something he always brought up was someone who's a bad culture fit is a weed, and they lower the bar for everyone else. And weeds spread in a garden, and your flowers can't grow if you don't take out the weeds.
Yep.
So all it takes is one, and it ruins the entire network.
That's a great way of putting it.
Yep. How do you think about business school? You started your own business. You also went to business school. Do you think it's valuable? Do you think people should do it? Do you think it added to what you've built now?
It's a funny thing. I think from a credibility standpoint, it helped.
Yeah.
Being able to have MBA next to my name. I don't have it in my email signature. I can't be that guy. But it's being able to put it on LinkedIn, being able to tell people, when we talk about our leadership team, it's, yes, I do have my MBA. It does have that, because I am still younger to be a CEO, it's like okay, maybe this kid actually knows what he's doing. And it's, I've been called the kid so many times recently, because the average age of a loan officer is in their 50s, late 50s. So it's, we are very much viewed as the next generation, the young kids coming through disrupting an industry. And we're just guys, I'm in my 30s, I'm in nearing my mid 30s. I'm almost 10 years into this business. I'm still the kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just been fun navigating that. But business school, it's tough. It depends on the teacher. And then we had our communications teacher, drier subject, but she did a fantastic job with it. We had a marketing professor that was not great. When you have somebody trying to teach executives that have never done it, that's why we love Brad.
Yep.
Because he's done it.
Yep.
so many times over. And we're blessed. I mean, that's where, Brad is he's helped us out so much. I mean, that's where, I don't know if you know, Brad's actually on our advisory board.
Yep. You were telling me.
Yeah. So it's, blessed to have his input. So it's, learned a lot in his class. A lot of it was kind of repetitive, because so much of Brad's class was do the work.
Yep.
There's not enough classes like that where it's we're going to put you in the situation, you're going to do the work.
Yeah.
There's still some stuff some of the accounting, economics, quantitative analytics. It's more just, in my mind, it was a mental exercise. Maybe part of that's just because of the route I have taken, but I'm just it's kind of when we were talking about math, it was just when are you going to ever use this?
Yeah.
But then one guy actually told me, Soy Yan, shout out Soy, actually told me the whole reason behind teaching math is just to speed up your processor in your brain. He's like, that's just how you learn how to problem solve.
Yeah.
That's how it's like you might find different ways to come to the same solution.
Yeah.
But just finding those different ways to really kind of get after problem solving.
Yeah. No, I was having that conversation with actually Zeke, cameraman. We were talking about philosophy, and so in the same principle of learning how to think,
Yes.
not necessarily what to think.
Right.
And our experience, at least at university, was that so many people went in not having the skill of knowing how to critically think,
Right.
not knowing that all this information that's coming at you, you can actually take it and disagree with it.
Right.
You don't have to agree with all the information that's coming at you.
Right.
And I think my argument for that was philosophy is the foundation for learning to think critically, breaking down logical problems, and there's not really a focus on how to think critically at university.
There's just not anymore. And it's a shame because I couldn't agree more. I mean, you have to be able to think outside the box, and you have to be able to, I feel like so many people just lack that creativity. And it's, I'm the least artistic person that God has ever made.
Yep.
But it's the, being able to find creative solutions and think outside the box. Like that's where, I've really kind of grown in my career, is just being able to there's got to be another way.
Yep.
And just constantly having that, well, I'm going to go find the way. I'm going to go find it. I'm going to do it better. I'm going to do it faster, whatever it is. And that's what's kind of led to a lot of kind of where we are, just that asking why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not enough people ask why.
Yeah. Just take the information and agree with it wholeheartedly.
Oh, 100%. Somebody came to us and said, if they were to want to really kind of get on our good side, what do DJ and I really want our employees to do? And I'm like, question everything.
Yeah. Even what I say.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the last thing we want in here is a yes man.
Yep.
We want people to come in here and, tell us the way we're doing this is absolutely wrong and you have a way to do it better. I'm like, we're all ears.
Yeah.
We can't wait to find a way. Thank you for telling us how to improve. It's that constructive, critical constructive feedback is everything. That's how you get better.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk to me about your I remember you telling me about your ethos of helping 10 people every day.
Mm-hmm.
And that was part of the philosophy of how you built your business. Where'd you learn that, and why was that the thing you grabbed onto?
It came from a couple different things of when I was trying to kind of figure out what I wanted to do when I grew up, and was working with a startup. Was like my startup went bust, and then kind of wanted to really kind of dive headfirst into lending because, and at the time, when I very first had to rewind, but when I first got into lending, I wasn't making a great amount of money. It was, I got a $28,000 salary and 40 basis points, which 100 basis points is 1%. So 40 basis points is 0.4%.
Yeah.
So my average loan amount my first year was $180,000. So at 40 basis points, I was making like $900.
Yep. Not even 1,000.
Nope. So it's, I found myself just constantly getting distracted. I found out about crypto in 2016 and I suck because I'm not retired.
Yep.
I bought my first Bitcoin for $600 and I bought 100 Ethereum for $600 total and sold it because I thought I made out like a bandit. And now today, as it's about to break 100,000, just could not have been more wrong, and still have some, but wish I would have had retirement money. But it was between that, my startup, I went on a bender trying to learn how to count cards. Yeah. And,
wait, say more about that.
Yeah, it's Blackjack Apprenticeship on YouTube. Amazing. They break it down so well. I downloaded their little app. Counting cards is actually not that hard, but it's just wildly dramatized. So it's there's still like professional card counters out there, but it's all about expected value. So it's their expected value of return, and it's like 1 unit an hour.
Yeah.
So if you're betting on a $5 table and you're a perfect professional card counter, you will make $5 an hour if you never make a mistake.
Yeah.
It's
very low.
It's not The Hangover.
Yep.
It's not.
You're
you
not
know,
making out with $10 million and
no,
retiring
no. The
on a
whole
beach.
and even like love the movie 21, and it's like cool if you have a team of people counting at different tables and you can bounce to different tables, and I'm like, yeah, they wonder how they got caught, and eventually that whole thing got shut down, and it's like, the stories of people getting dragged in and beat up. I'm like, it's more like we've seen it now, where it's like they just come up and they're like, hey, you can't raise your bets, or hey, we don't want you, you're too good for us, get out.
Yeah.
But yeah, just funny, man. Went down that rabbit hole, lost way too much time. And then when my startup, it just coincided where it was like my startup fell out. This was like fall of 2019. I was like, what am I going to do for money? And then I looked back, and now all of a sudden I was making, I think I was making like 80, 90, 100 basis points, depending on, it was like tiered out based on how much volume I was closing that month. And, then all of a sudden my average loan amount was like 400,000.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden I go from making $900 to 3,200, sometimes $4,000. Okay, hey, maybe I should actually give this lending thing a try that I've been doing for like 4 years. So kind of went head first into that. Started reading a ton of books. Just I was always kind of a basher of self-help books and kind of self-improvement books.
Yeah.
And it's funny, our boy Ty, I used to say the exact same thing that Ty Silver said of, the last book I read was Green Eggs and Ham.
So stupid.
And
I hate that joke.
I was so proud of that because I made it through college without knowing. And I'm also an auditory learner.
Yep.
I'm dyslexic. I have ADHD. Having me sit down and read a book, I'm like, it's just not going to happen. And even then, like listening to an audiobook, I'm like, my attention for 4 seconds and still my brain starts wandering. I'm just like counting the dots on the ceiling tile.
Thinking about your Bitcoin portfolio.
yeah, it would have been. So it's, once I kind of saw that, how much money and how much potential there really was there, then it was just the couple books I really read, The Compound Effect, The Go-Giver, The Four Agreements, a lot of these books that a lot of had the kind of the same mindset. And it was just kind of came to that conclusion where it was just as long as you find a way to help 10 people a day. I also boiled it down. It's not the greatest thing that people love to hear, but at the end of the day, mortgages is just a data business.
Yep.
It's, the average American will have 11 mortgages in their lifetime. People move every 7 years on average. So it was more of how do I grow my database and have a higher number on my database, and understanding that like the more people in my database, the more business I will do, but how do you make those people not feel like a number?
Yeah.
So it's giving that high level of service so that you can continue growing that. And that's what it really boiled down to, was if it originally started with like, how do I add 10 people to my database every day?
Yeah.
And then I kind of recreated it to just find a way to help 10 people every day. And then just had that mindset. I'm like, business will take care of itself. And then it coincided with property tax appeals. So I built my entire foundation of my business on property tax appeals.
Say more about that.
Yeah, in the state of Colorado, every 2 years is a reassessment year. So this next year is a reassessment year. So I'm glad you and I are talking about it because we'll help you out with it. Come January, you're going to get your new property tax bill.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to go up. You're going to call me. You're going to be pissed off. Why did my taxes go up? The counties they cherry pick just the absolute highest comps they could possibly find because that's in their best interest, and you can't hate on them for it. But I remember I found it because when I bought my first home in 2017, I bought it in like the window for this reassessment period where they just use a 2-year rolling average to pull comps. I bought it for $273. I get the property tax bill, and they billed me for $330. And I'm like, I bought it in the window.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's $330? I bought it for $273 in the window. I sent that in. I sent all the appeal work in, and they knocked it down to $300. Appalling to me. And I called them complaining, and they were like, oh, if you don't like it, appeal. I'm like, guys, you don't understand how petty I am. Like, you don't understand how angry I am. So I just started helping everybody I could find appeal it. And then with that goal, it just ended up being this, it also coincided with, we did this amazing referral workshop. Just learning how to ask for open-ended referrals, give people the time to think.
Yep.
So we just started generating referrals from tax appeals, just helping people blindly. And then we realized, like, you put that much good into the world, whether it's God, the karma, the universe, the order, whatever you want to call it or attribute it to, you just put that much good in the world, man. Business will take care of itself. It'll come back to you. And then it's just continued to grow and grow from there. And I know Brad asked me, Brad and Betsy, when we were going into the New Venture Challenge, like, what's your big social mission?
Yep.
Like, do you have a true, like, one thing you want to change in the world? And I just relayed back. I was like, just find a way to help 10 people a day. And they were like, no, think bigger. I was like, one day we could potentially grow this company where we might have 100, 200, 1,000 employees one day.
Yep.
And if every single person here has the mindset of find a way to help 10 people a day,
that scale,
then we'll make some real change on the world.
Yep. And I know we're talking about Bradley Warner. He's an entrepreneurship professor at CU Boulder. And he's also exited a shit ton of companies.
Yeah.
Very, very good entrepreneur. But he didn't really believe in the vision or the stuff that was going on. How'd that feel?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's, the same way, I got cut from my freshman year. I had to transfer high schools because I got cut from the basketball team. And I was like, but I'm going to play in college. And they're like, my man, you're not playing C team. So it's, I ended up transferring from Stanley Lake to Ranham. And just had to continue working my way up. I'm just like the walking injury case of all injury cases. And basketball, I think I was meant to be like a world-class water polo player, just never basketball. But, who wants to play water polo?
Nobody.
Treading water, I'm like, a shout out to every water polo player ever. Can you imagine treading water while playing? That's insane.
That sounds horrible. I remember taking swimming lessons. We had to tread water for like 5 minutes. And I'd be there with my head out, just like,
Yep.
oh, please end.
Yeah, please end. But no, it was funny. Like, so, a lot of those kind of memories and just emotions came back. So I remember, I actually, low key kind of hit Brad up for some cash. I was like 6 months removed from the program. I had this amazing opportunity and put together a slide deck. But I walked him through kind of the business model where, I showed him, I was like, look, we have the chance to bring on this giant team. I need like $250,000 to buy laptops and 3 months reserves and, all the equipment to hire this team. And I was like, but then they're full commission employees. So, we'll make that money back really quick. And I walked him through the business model and he just didn't believe this existed. Where now he loves it, where he's just cracking up at it. But yeah, he was just like, so you're telling me you don't have to fund the money yourself. You don't have to put it up. You just, wholesale the mortgage to like United Wholesale Mortgage or one of our other investors. And he's like, they pay you at closing. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, there's no way. I don't believe that. There's no chance it's that simple.
Yeah.
It's like, I got receipts. It's, we've been operating for a while now. So it's, it was just funny. And, then he told me, he was like, yeah, I'm actually not even allowed to invest. So, it was like he had a 1 year cooling off at a minimum thing and, protect the students.
Oh, yeah.
People adore their professor and then they take their Sharky deal from their professor.
Yep.
It's the,
professor now owns all their IP, all part
Right,
of their company.
right.
And they're like, wait, I thought you
I
were
trusted
good.
him.
I thought
Yeah.
you were a good person.
Exactly.
Yeah. When you're thinking about your journey in entrepreneurship, how do you think about the way you grew up and what impact that has had on your journey?
Absolutely. So, when I grew up, so I was born in St. Louis. My dad was in the Air Force, and he was one of the probably best navigators in the country at the time. He was actually navigated for the vice president. He actually, the movie Argo with the Iranian hostages, I remember calling my dad. I was like, yeah, I've been meaning to watch this. Just watch this. And he was like, oh, yeah, I was the nav. He's like, I actually navigated in and like got those hostages out. And I was like, how have we never talked about this? And that's just who my dad is. Like, love him to death. He's very reserved. He, once he got out, he got a CPA and, worked for Quest and CenturyLink. And, so, that was my dad's side, my mom's side. My mom was one of the top criminal attorneys in the country. And then I am the youngest of all my cousins even. So I don't even have a cousin. I didn't see a baby until I was like 18 years old. Which I know for your background, it's mind blowing. But so my conversations, even at the dinner table was just much more elevated. Like, there was no baby talk ever. It was, from a young age, it was just just much more higher level thinking, higher level, conversations. And, even then they were just constantly pushing me, You know, we didn't know so much about ADHD and dyslexia back then, in the early 90s, but it was like, you know, I was in fifth grade doing like 11th grade, or I was in second grade doing 11th grade math.
That's crazy.
Was doing like college algebra. And then when we moved out here to be closer to my dad's family, we went to a public school out here. And from third grade to fifth grade, all of my test levels went down.
Why?
Because when I was in public school, they were like, it was so bad. You know, again, I was trying to do college algebra in second grade. And by the time I'm even hitting fifth grade, the first week they were teaching us how to count. So it's, as a kid with ADHD, you're like, count how many blocks and bricks. I don't know if you remember like the giant thing that was 100 and then a skinny thing for 10
Yep.
and then the thing for
Yeah, I
1.
know
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So it's like,
Yep.
they'd put that on your desk. They're like, look down and see how many it is. I'm like, 116. They're like, wait for everybody. I'm like, what do you mean wait for everybody? It was like 5 minutes goes by and I'm just sitting there rocking like, well, now I got to do bad shit.
Yep.
So I just constantly got in trouble and, you know, grades went down because I was like, I don't need to do this homework. Like,
Yeah, I already know how to do it.
yeah,
Why would
exactly,
I do it?
exactly. Why would I do it? So then it was like my parents got really pissed off and put me in a Catholic school. So that's where I went to Holy Trinity, and where I met my wife, funny enough. And yeah, they just beat the tar off us with how much work they piled onto us. It was ridiculous. Because where did you end up going for
I went to Catholic school to Nativity.
Nativity? That's
Yeah,
right. That's right.
sure.
Which is funny because Holy Trinity was closer for you at the time, wasn't it?
No, because we were always in Thornton. I guess it's
Okay.
about the same 20 minutes, 25.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's, you know, uh, going through it all with just my family, it was always just, you know, played a lot of board games. It's love Monopoly. I've lost to like my wife once. I'm like 99. I'm like 98 and 2 overall. But
You're
it's,
kind of cheating, though. You're the real estate professional.
it has nothing to do with real estate. There's some negotiation, but it's funny, man. Like I realize in hindsight, like looking back on me, like I probably always thought differently than other kids because like I was you know, I was probably 5-6 years old playing Monopoly and beating my aunts and uncles and parents that you know, just I know I've seen it or somebody actually broke down the statistically best way to play Monopoly. And
No
it was
way you
like,
studied that.
I knew that. I could have told you that before I even read the article where it was like, you know, the oranges are absolutely the best Monopoly because I was like, man, 6, 8, and 9 really seem to come up a lot more than all the other dice number. And it's, then I started seeing like, there's a lot of things that send you to jail. So that'll, you know, open up that 6, 8, 9. It's like, there's a lot of stuff that send you to go. So the light blues giving you that 6, 8, 9 again. It was just, that's how my brain was working when I was like 5, 6 years old. And then learning that I was like, holy crap, I'm just doing stats.
Yeah.
Like just analyzing data on the fly where I'm just like trying to find a way. I'm like, how do I get these plays above all else? Because anything else is crap compared to the oranges.
Yep.
It's just funny, man.
So growing up, you were always had a weird brain.
Hey, I had a weird brain, but also had, you know, a good family that was just constantly pushing the envelope of like I said, it wasn't normal conversations. It was always very, very high level and just, you know, my parents and my brother really pushing me because my brother is just insanely smart, just a ridiculous amount of knowledge in his head. But it's the, you know, so it was always just, I don't know, other people going to school. It wasn't like like I said, the other thing of just having no younger kids and like there was no baby talk. There was no, you know, I felt like so much attention was on me because it was just like all right, as soon as we get through this one, like we're done, we made it.
Yep. They were like, we're just gonna max him out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Did you know you were gonna be an entrepreneur?
Probably deep down. You know, it's so funny too. You know, seeing the Hamilton musical, I don't know if you guys have, but you know, that whole bit on never being satisfied. Mm-hmm. It's, you know, I can't tell you how much that began to resonate and hit me, that it was like a, you know, I think it was one of the Schuyler sisters screaming out at the end of the first act of just that busting out. She's like, "It'll never be satisfied." I'm like, just, you know, that's me. That it's, no matter what I did in life, it just was never good enough.
Yeah.
It was, you know, when I made the freshman basketball team, it was like, all right, how do I start playing? Then, you know, got cut. So then transferred. I was like, all right, how do I make the C team and actually get playing? Then I actually got to play. Then it was, all right, how do I make JV? Then all of a sudden I was one of the top scorers on JV. Then it was like, all right, how do I make varsity? I didn't play varsity until I was a senior in high school.
Oh, dang.
And even then I got a concussion 2 days before the first game because I'm the walking injury case of all injury cases.
Yep.
And barely got to play as a senior in high school. And all I could say was like, God, I got to find a way to still play in college. And just emailed and cold called every single college coach in Colorado until coach at Otero Junior College got back to me, and yeah, invited me out for a tryout. I don't know what it was. It was like pressure makes diamonds, I guess.
Yep.
I had a couple different tryouts. Every college that I played for, I just tried out, and that was always like the best I've ever played.
Yep.
Was in those tryouts for no reason. Just couldn't miss a shot. Just playing better than I've ever done. So I ended up getting a small scholarship to Otero, and then I was like, and then of course they saw my knees. Ended up having knee surgery. Otero sucked. It was so miserable. It was actually the year before they won the junior college national championship.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there. I left. Then they won the championship.
Oh.
And then all of a sudden I go back when my little brother-in-law, I helped him get a scholarship there. And the entire campus was remodeled, new weight room, new dorms, everything. And they're like, yeah, it's crazy what winning a national championship does. It brings so much money into the school. And I'm like, if only I would have waited. But went out to Cerritos. Same thing. It was just like how do I find a way? I just want to get a jersey just to be able to say I accomplished that goal and played in college.
Yep.
The second I got the jersey, it was like all right, I got to find a way to get minutes.
Yep.
And then as soon as I started getting some minutes, it was just I got to find a way to play at a Division II at least.
Yep.
And then I got a scholarship to play at Regis. Again, walked on to Regis, got a small scholarship, mainly academic. But it's as soon as I got there, it was like all right, I got to find a way to get minutes. I got to find a way to go play overseas. And then my body was like, just stop.
Yeah.
Like, you have to stop. So it's, that same kind of mindset, when I started, really focusing on originating, I just kept climbing and climbing and climbing. And, I hit the top, whatever, 1%, the Scotsman guide. I don't know what exactly percent I was, but, had a really great year, a couple of years, really built up. And I'm just not a money-driven person. It's, clearly I wear very fancy labels.
Yep.
Just the Nike outlet store next to me. I love it. But it's it was just always trying to climb and see that next level, just trying to level up at all times. So it's, when I hit the Scotsman guide and I told my former mentor that, if he had hired me, because I didn't know what credit was, I had 10 different mortgage companies turn me down.
Yep.
I tried to actually go work for BBVA, and they said, you have the personality and the acumen of a CEO, so we can't hire you to be a loan officer. The lowest level we can hire you is a branch manager. I was like, okay, cool, I'll take that. I'll figure it out. And they're like, yeah, you need 2 years experience. I'm like, start me as a receptionist. Start me as a janitor. I'll work my way up. I have no fear of that. I have no fear of hard work. And they just refused to hire me. And so he took a chance on me. I told him, if you take a chance on me, I don't know how you measure anything in this industry, but I'll break every record you have.
Yeah.
And then it was a crazy thing. It was actually our Christmas party. He announced that I broke every record that they had, highest volume, highest units, everything. And it was the most empty, deflating moment imaginable, because I set that massive goal out for myself and then it was gone.
Yeah. You had nothing left to beat. No goal to beat. No.
There's just nothing. So then I asked him, I was like, what's next? Like I've always had that, very clear vision of what the next level is.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's no next level, what do I do here? And he's like, you beat it again. You do it again. You prove it wasn't a fluke. I'm like, no.
Yep.
Like, I know it wasn't a fluke, so no. That was such a struggle for me. And then you think about that's why I think about how hard it is for professional athletes to repeat as champions.
Yeah.
You just accomplished a life goal.
Yep.
There's nothing higher than that. And you're supposed to just go do it again.
Yeah. You're like, I already did it.
Yeah.
What's the next level?
That's why the Spurs, I don't know if you know this, the whole Tim Duncan, Ginobili, Parker, they never won back-to-back. It's crazy.
Yep.
So it's, I knew I was getting to that point where it was like I needed to find that next step of like I have to level up, I have to keep growing, otherwise I just can't stay still. So I knew I was going to do something else, and they pushed me to be a branch manager. They showed me behind the curtain. I took a couple recruiting meetings. I talked to like probably 8 or 10 different mortgage companies, and honestly, like just the amount of greed in this industry was disgusting, appalling. The lack of transparency. It was just it was horrible to see.
Yeah.
And that's where I just had this vision where I was like, I can do it better.
Yeah.
And it was funny. It was actually everybody thinks it's a basketball thing that I named a 3 Point Mortgage. It was actually our insurance agent that named us.
Why?
So I was trying for like 2 weeks to name the company.
Yeah.
And again, least creative person on earth. So I'm like just Googling like names. Like I could not think of anything.
The mortgage company.
Yes, something like we actually have like one of our vendors, the licensing store.
Oh God.
Shout out Ryan Kinch. The loan store.
Yep.
Shout out John Lally. It's it's too funny like seeing everybody struggles with names. But it's so I was sitting there talking to my insurance agent Alex, and he's like, well, what do you want this company to be about? I was like, honesty and transparency, because what I went through, seeing the back end of mortgages, seeing the greed, seeing the lack of transparency, seeing it all, it infuriated me. So then I was like, I've always built my thing on like help 10 people a day, give a higher service, just be better, give a better service than anyone. And I also learned you give high service because you're selling ridiculously high rates.
Yep.
So you have to give a high service, because if they focus on the rate, you lose.
Yep.
So it was just a crazy thing that didn't realize that's why I was giving such a high service and trained on it. And I was like, and then we're going to be like brokers, so we're going to be really cheap. And he was like, cool, don't say cheap. He's like, you say value. He's like, call 3 Point Mortgage, get a good triangle logo, throw honesty, service with value as a tagline at the bottom, call it good. He's like, plays on your basketball background. He's like, get some good blue color because that's good for financial institutions. Like, this isn't hard.
Yep.
I was like, dude, slow down. I'm writing. And it's, and then sure enough, there's the logo that we got on Fiverr. We went
And
through
designed it with Fiverr.
Yeah. Went straight to Fiverr. We went to I think we contracted 15 different graphic artists. Went
So
through
is there 15 logos somewhere?
Yeah, in a folder. God, they're bad. So bad. So it's, just kept going with different iterations until we found the one that we dialed in on. And we were just like, we always kind of thought it was like, it was okay. It was a placeholder.
Yep.
And then once DJ finally came, he was like, all right, the second we have money, I'm going to go redo the logo.
Yep.
And it was like, again, me being the least creative person, I was like, I think it's best if you just keep me out of it. I'm like, as long as you get something like a coin that you can put on a hat or something, because we tried to put this logo on there. I was like, it's just a random triangle. We're like, okay, something that relays back to the brand that we could put on a hat, put on a coin, something like that, and then whatever you want. So I think you did a fantastic job. I mean, you've seen the new rebrand. What are your thoughts?
Way better than this. It looks way better.
Way better. Yeah. Luke Peach was the designer that we brought on. He just did such an amazing job.
Yeah. You were talking about never being satisfied with your goals. Like you hit one,
yep,
on to the next. Do you ever get worried that you'll just be on this continuous cycle of breaking goals and not necessarily being satisfied with any of them?
It is a dangerous thing because I know, I've gotten to know Matt Ishbia a little bit. We've traded some emails. We've gotten to talk briefly, but a lot of him, everything I hear from him, we're very, very similar. And shout out to Matt for signing my Nuggets championship banner. It was a funny story, but it's, he had that same kind of mindset where it's even when I was just out there this last week, he was like, he wants brokers to dominate because we are so much better for the consumer at the end of the day. And he's like, right now brokers only actually have 24% of the market. It's all retail. It's all retail and correspondent lending. So he was like, I want to push that boundary to, 25%. The second we have 25%, he's like, I'll do the small celebration in the world. And then back, all right, how do we get to 30%?
Yep.
It's like, and then what's your goal? He's like, then we'll be like, well, how do we get to 50%? And it's that same mindset where it is like, I think people like him, people like myself, and, I'm honored to even I'm a humble person, so I don't like my ego. I don't want to have an ego, so it's like even trying to compare myself to him when he's done so much. Just an idol mentor of mine that I'm just looking up to him, and but even kind of saying that we have those same characteristics and those same traits, that it's like I know we're going to do something big with this company because I eat, sleep, breathe. The second I wake up, I'm working. Before I go to sleep, I have to fall asleep to like The Office or Parks and Rec, something to occupy my brain because I'm just thinking about work. I think it is just going to continue growing and growing and growing, and I don't think that's why I set my next goal on the moon. I was like, my goal is to build the company big enough to buy the Denver Nuggets, and it's funny because when I set that goal, is like because I love NBA 2K, and I was always like, I can take over the Nuggets and win a championship. So then me getting to be there and watch them win it live in person, I had an existential crisis because I was like, oh my God, they did it without me.
Like, I can't do it anymore. The goal is gone.
What is life? My goal is meaningless. So it's like I still want to. Maybe I'll buy the Hornets and try and turn them around. I'm better than Jordan at running a team.
Yeah.
Something like that. But it truly is like I feel like I really had to put that ridiculous of a goal out there so that I have something to chase, and it's crazy that that goal's on the moon, but it still feels attainable to me. I think I really think you give us 10, 15 years, I think that's kind of the timeline. And Matt Ishbia, I mean, he bought the Phoenix Suns cash at 44 years old.
Yeah, it's gonna be you.
If he can do it, why not me?
Yep.
You just gotta work harder.
Yep. And how are you able to do all of this while also raising a family? You're gonna buy a basketball team, and you have a few kids, a wife, working all the time.
The most understanding, patient, and loving wife God has ever created. It's we have such a good balance. I mean, we've taken more of a traditional role where she does do a lot of, raising the kids. She worked her ass off to graduate from Regis with her BSN. Mm-hmm. And it took her 6 years to do it the same way, it took me 6 years to get my bachelor's degree. And, she graduated at the top of her class and passed the NCLEX on the first try. And, there's a big need for bilingual nurses. And I know if she wanted to go make six figures tomorrow, she can go make six figures, but she's choosing to stay home with our kids. And, I'm so grateful for that. We'll always be grateful for that because it's who better to raise their kid than their mom or their dad. But it's, she just has such a level of patience with the boys that I know I don't have. She's such a better parent than me. I can't wait until because again, I was never around kids, so it's all so foreign to me. But I can't wait for kids to be, when Derek is 5 or Damien's 5, and we can actually play a board game.
Yep.
Oh, I'm gonna beat the crap out of them.
Until they beat you.
It'll never happen. It'll never happen. But even we play basketball now in our little mini hoop in the living room, and it's Sandra gets mad at me because I block Derek nonstop. I just won't let him score, and he's just throwing a fit, just throwing a tantrum, and I'm just laughing at him, dribbling around him, dunking it, and he just gets so angry, and I love it. And Sandra's like, "You're gonna make him hate it." I'm like, "No, he keeps coming back."
Yep.
I'm like, that's I recognize that in him. He's getting his ass kicked, but he keeps coming back.
Yep. He's got that competitive edge.
He does.
Yeah.
So I can't wait. It's going to flourish. We tried T-ball. It was the worst experience imaginable. He just didn't want to go on the field.
No.
It was like herding sheep doesn't begin to describe, because I think herding sheep would be easier than 3-year-old T-ball.
Yeah.
It was so bad. It was cute as hell and it was funny, but once kids are a little bit older, I'm so excited to spend more time with them. And that's where we kind of looked at it right now. These are the grind years, where it's, this is a chance to really kind of lay the foundation and continue to build. And that's the craziest part, man, is now, we brought, DJ coming on as my president, Josh and Nami and Calvin coming on. Now Galena just came on as our director of business development. It's growing without me. I don't have to be the main engine. I don't have to be the main driver. We laid such a foundation. And now that we have Connor, who is just a machine, it's, we've just been so blessed to build this amazing team that, I think if I were to stop and step away for 6 months, I'd come back and the company grew. So then it's just it's a scary thing when it's if I'm pouring all myself in and everybody's pouring all themselves in, how fast are we really going to grow this thing? And it's all just the same thing based on word of mouth referrals.
Yep.
We've grown to the size we are. Not one person in this company has ever made one outbound call trying to recruit somebody to the company.
Yeah.
All 100% word of mouth referrals.
Yep. What have you learned about human psychology, about people being on the phone all the time, selling?
Yeah, it's it's a funny thing that I think any good salesperson, like, even when you and I are having a conversation on the phone, like I picture you and I picture what you're doing on the phone, and it's like you said, high empathy always. You have to, really kind of put yourself in their shoes, and I mean that's what the good salespeople do. It has nothing to do with the sell me this pen crap. It's the you got to get deep with them. You got to be able to figure out what their goals are, who they are as people, what are they trying to accomplish, what are their motivations, what are their hesitations, and really go deep in trying to understand how can you help this person. It has nothing to do with selling, and it's when you truly kind of focus on that, and the same way we translate it to employees, where it's like, there's so many other shops where, and like mortgage companies, that they want everybody to be $100 million producer,
Mm-hmm.
which is great for the company. But what if they don't want to be a $100 million producer? We have people in our office where it's like, Cassie, we love Cassie. She doesn't want to be a $100 million producer and work 80 hours a week. That's not her goals. It's, she loves being an amazing mom, being an amazing wife, going to church and being involved in her community and her faith. And work comes after all of that.
Yep.
So it's, if we were to try and turn her into a $100 million producer, how's that going to go?
Horribly.
So that's what we've really found is, that going back to the Simon Sinek, like we'd rather have the high trust for everything. And regardless of what your kind of production is, if you're profitable, even a few dollars to the company, but you're high trust and you're good for the culture, you have a place here.
Yep.
It has nothing to do with just, demanding everybody be these ridiculous high performers.
Yep. I was sat with Philip Folsom, and he was talking about having a shared mission, shared vision, shared values, and how all of those have to be aligned within an organization, within a family. And what you're talking about goes along with that same line of thinking, which is, someone on the team might have this goal, someone on the other team might have this very, very different goal, like 100 million producer versus I just want to make enough money to help my community.
Yep.
And how do you fit that into that larger org?
It's a really good question, because you got to think that we all have this common goal that has nothing to do with personal production.
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with even company production. It truly is so much more about building a community and building something much bigger than ourselves. That, and to show it, like DJ and I don't know if I shared this with you. DJ and I actually, so we took a pledge. It's funny. I'm trying to give DJ ownership in the company because right now on paper I still own 100%. But we found out, like, if I just gave him ownership today at our current setup, it would be all like capital gains taxable income.
Really?
Yeah. So he's like, okay, so please don't.
I don't want to pay that.
Yeah. He's like, please don't give me ownership right now. So we're working on we're trying to launch an ESOP, an employee stock option purchase plan. Turns out those are wildly expensive to launch. It's like about $40,000 to $50,000 to go through pro formas, 10-year feasibility analysis, restructuring into a C corp, doing so much stuff like that, and then you have to self-fund it for minimum $175,000. And it's like, I don't know if all these are 100% facts. These are just what the attorneys kind of that we worked with told us, and then it's going to be another $10,000 of annual maintenance. So we realized, like, this is going to cost us $250,000 to be able to give stock options to our company, but we're so excited to do that in Q3, Q4 next year. It's just when the kind of time comes for it, and we have that in the budget. But DJ and I took a pledge that, we can't say we're the least greedy people. We can't say it's all about transparency. We can't say that we're not money and then not do something big to stand behind that. So we actually took a pledge that we don't make money on the backs of others. Every single dollar that anybody makes the company goes directly back to improving the company.
Yeah.
When the company can no longer be improved by money, we're building our reserves.
Yep.
Once we hit a 6-month reserves, we're launching our real estate hedge fund. Then I think we're going to do something like 50% of the profits of that real estate hedge fund get directly profit sharing and redistributed back to the employees. And on top of that, we're putting 20% of the company into the ESOP. So that way employees will have ownership in the company. They'll see profit sharing from the company. It's, when we say we're here to disrupt and we're not here to be greedy, it's one of our favorite things. I'm like, stand on business. Yeah. It's, go be about it.
Yeah. Yep. And what's the hardest lesson you've learned on your journey as a business owner?
It sucks, man, but it's like realizing we have a lot of people and we have an amazing culture that everybody cares deeply about the company, and I don't question anybody's kind of how much they care, but there is an element that where at least early on it was like realizing like, why doesn't everybody care as much as I care?
Yeah.
And then again, maturity comes through 2 years later, and it's like, well, yeah, they didn't have any ownership.
Yeah, I own the entire company.
Yeah, it's, why doesn't somebody work as hard as I work for my company? I don't understand. It's, of course they don't.
Yep.
So that's part of why the ESOP is so important to us. Let them have ownership. Let your employees be bought in. I think it's a no-brainer, and we haven't seen. I don't really, at least there's no mortgage company that I know of that has really taken that approach, and it baffles me why nobody has. But it's just this steel curtain of just hiding behind in this industry that nobody wants to talk about what's there, what kind of money's there on the back end, and it's just not really showing anybody. It's like you start asking questions about, hey, like, where's our margin?
Yep.
It's like, why are you asking about my margin?
Yep.
That's none of your business. So we're just trying to burn that to the ground.
Yeah. So you would say the hardest lesson you learned was people not being aligned.
Yeah, just
in the same way as you are.
Exactly, like tampering expectations, because for me it was if I I don't think about anything but work at this point. It's like work and family. Yep. So it's the second my kids are down and Sandra's like, hey, I had a rough day, I'm gonna go to bed, I'm like, oh, sick, I can get back on the phone. Who can I call at 8:30 p.m. to talk shop and talk about how we can grow this business? And I'm like, what do you mean nobody wants to talk at 8:30 p.m.?
Yep.
And it's one of those realizations where it was like, okay, if they don't have ownership in the company, if they don't have, not everybody has those same goals, that same drive, that same, that same fire to just constantly work and do nothing but work. Like, I know that's where DJ and I, we've gone on trips together, and it's like, our wives really ask us, like, you guys really talk about work for like 20 straight hours? And we're like, fuck yeah.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
Hell yeah, that's all we talk about. And now Jaden Hanson, who came into our lives, it's like, we go to Phoenix and it's like, okay, we're literally in Matt Ishbia's suite and sitting courtside, and all we're talking about is work.
Yep.
And it's, now it's like I've aligned myself with those guys. So it's like, DJ and I and Jaden were like texting each other back and forth at like 9 p.m. Like, ooh, what if we did this? What if we did that? So it's, early on it was difficult because I didn't have that true partner. It's so trying to find the initial people of, why doesn't anybody care as much as I care? That's a really hard thing that I know. Like, I watched my aunt owned a honey baked ham store up in Grand Junction. And I saw the same kind of thing where I was like, why don't people care? Like, it blew my mind that I was like, grown adults, like, I'm going in there and I'm working harder than, I was like 11 years old.
Yeah.
Working harder than grown people getting paid to do this when I'm getting paid like $3 an hour.
Yep.
I'm like, why isn't everybody working as hard as this? And I think that truly is like trying to, and again, it's the cult, and that's probably why, looking back, like why I say culture is everything.
Yep.
So it's finding those people that are bought in as much as you are.
Yeah. No, I've definitely had that thought process before where you just see people around you. I guess especially in my generation, it feels like a lot of people are just giving up. There's a lot of hopelessness, I think. And, and
that's sad.
Yeah.
Because there's so much opportunity out there.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And then it's easy to get upset at the world, get upset at other people for not wanting to try hard, for not wanting to put in effort to achieve their goals, but doesn't really do anything for you other than make you angry.
Right.
Right.
And then again, going back, what does anger solve?
Nothing.
Then don't get angry. Just move
Yep.
forward.
Yep.
And that's the craziest thing. Like, I've seen so many young entrepreneurs, even younger than myself, that, there's so many, especially in today's age, so many industries are just ripe to be disrupted.
Yeah.
There's so many opportunities. You just got to be able to go out there and look for it. And then once you have that mindset of going in there and trying to always be open and stay looking for opportunities, you just find them everywhere.
Yep.
Like, there's so much opportunity everywhere you go. And that was the next kind of big problem I think I found. The second biggest issue was like, when I opened the mortgage company, I think you even came in and I showed you my master plan of like, all right, we have mortgage, and then we're going to do title, then we're going to do insurance, then we're going to do property management, then we're going to do, these 11 of the other sister companies and subsidiaries. And then when linking up with Sean, I was like, then we're going to do 3-Point Health.
Yep.
And I found, a weight loss person. I found a gym guy. I found everything. I'm like, I'm going to build like 15 businesses at once. And it's being able to, put blinders on.
Yep.
And maybe I should actually focus on standing up one business first. And it's so funny. It was actually, so David Mackin's brother, Dan, he was actually sitting right here. And he and I were talking. And he was like, when David first joined me, because he joined me like 45 days after we opened the company.
Yeah.
And he was watching me go through this phase of trying to figure out, how to stay focused and what I wanted to do. He was just cracking up. And he was like, will this guy ever just fucking pick a thing and go with it?
Yeah.
And he's like, whenever he does, it's going to be amazing. He's like, but until then, he's trying to do, 20 things at once, which means you're a master of none.
Yep. Yep.
So it's, being able to put blinders on and truly only focus on 3-Point has been tough because, then opportunities come like Kushan, where I'm like, dude, seeing Cloud9 and seeing CLD9. And he was like, hey, do you want to come get involved? I'm like, once again, I'm like, fuck yeah.
Like I do.
Hell yeah, I want to get involved. And then I'm just like, I don't have the time.
Yep.
As badly as I'm like, oh, I have so many ideas, so much vision. I'm just like, I can't do it.
Yep.
Because then you go back to like, at least having some semblance of a balance. I'm like, I guess I could do it, but then I just have to abandon my kids and my family.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the priorities come in a little bit that it's like, okay, I'm already working, a healthy amount of hours on 3-Point Mortgage. Maybe don't pick up a second job.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been, a fun time of like, watching the kids grow, trying to be involved, but still understand like what we're trying to build.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And everything comes at a cost. Every opportunity you say yes to, you're saying no to something else. It's that opportunity cost that you miss out on. And I think I struggle a lot with just wanting to do everything all at once and being able to actually focus in on one thing, say no to everything else. Like, it costs you a lot to say no to everything else.
It does.
Because you're sitting there and you're like, oh, but this opportunity over here could be even better than my own, right? Like, it's this mentality of the grass is greener where I'm not.
Yep.
Yep.
And then you're like, well, let's just do a podcast.
Yep. Well, now this is the only thing I'm saying yes to.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, apart from I have my full-time job and I have my investments, and then podcast is the one thing that I care a lot about right now. And I'm doing a lot of work on trying to stay just focused in on this,
Right.
do it for a really long period of time, because like with 3-Point Mortgage, what are you going to do in 10 years versus if you built it for 1 year, went off to do 3-Point Insurance, went off to do 3-Point
Yep.
whatever, you're going to sit there and build mediocre companies that it's just like they have some success, but they're not going to blow up and be what they could be, right?
Absolutely. It's like, for a while, I was just calling it like a shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
You're just constantly bouncing one thing to the next and never able to stay focused and just build one thing.
There's a little bit of that ADHD too. I think I suffer
For
from
sure.
it a little bit.
For sure.
Where it's like everything sounds so interesting. I just want to learn this. I want to learn that. I want to learn everything.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard to stay on.
It's really, really
track.
hard to dial in on one thing. What was the most recent thing you had to say no to?
Most recent thing. Honestly, I think it was Cloud9 was the most exciting recent thing, because I remember I introduced them to my buddy Eric. They couldn't come to terms on anything, but I think I still have faith that they can come back together. because I think they could blow it up together. But yeah, that was only a few months ago that we kind of re-engaged on it, and you know, because it was right around when it was shortly before you bought your house, right? So it was probably like
Yeah, yeah.
5 months ago that
A
we,
little bit before.
yeah, something like that. And it's like time is such an enigma now, that I can't believe we're about to have Thanksgiving next week.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
already almost the end of 2024. It feels like it just blinked and it was 2022.
Yep.
So it was a hard thing to say no to, man, because my one of my undergrads is in exercise science.
Mm-hmm.
I worked at a gym and I knew all about supplements.
Yep.
And I take the supplements myself, so I'm a user of the product. I enjoy them. It's such an easy sale.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, how do you not just go knock down doors? How do you not go to the gym and get 5 people every day?
Yeah.
Like, dude, I was like, if I'm running this marketing side, I'm like, I'm not going to go to sleep today until I add 10 new subscribers.
Yeah.
Like, I will go find 10 new subscribers every day very easily.
Yeah.
Just by going to the gym and just like putting the box down on my bench and just going to talk to people.
Yep.
Because so many people are afraid, like, especially, your generation. Like, dude, nobody wants to just go like talk to people.
Yeah.
Everybody's so afraid.
Yeah.
I'm like, just go engage. Go sit in the sauna and be like, what are you using for recovery?
Yep. I think it's a fear of awkwardness too, a fear of like, just like not even the fear of talking to anyone, but everyone's afraid of discomfort, like the discomfort of having an interaction that maybe was like awkward, that maybe
Right.
they said no, because no like conversation with anyone is gonna end with like them just like fighting you and yelling at you. They could, but the likelihood of that happening
Right.
from you just saying, "Oh, hello, I'm selling you this
Right.
thing," or "This is my company,"
Right.
like it's so low.
It's so low. And I think one of the biggest things that like changed my tone on that, and where it's like, just don't have fear on approaching anyone, because when we learned that referral workshop I talked to, it's like learning how to ask in an open-ended manner.
Yeah.
Because when you talk about the psychology behind asking for referral, there's a Southwestern Consulting, one of the two, that came in and showed us the statistics behind it, and it was phenomenal data where it was something like 88% of people that had a good experience said they would refer out. Only like 12% did.
Yeah.
But if you asked for the referral, it went from 12 to like 82%.
Yep.
But you have to ask in an open-ended question, because if you ask closed-ended, do you know anyone looking to buy a home? Very easy to say, no. All right, move
Yep.
on. Whereas if you say, who's the next person in your circle who's going to buy a home? Shut up. Let them think. Then all of a sudden their brain just starts triggering. You
Yeah.
start thinking of names, and then it almost becomes that old school, like, first person to talk loses.
Yeah.
But it's when you do that, you learn how to be uncomfortable in that uncomfortable silence while I'm staring at somebody think. And it's once I've done that, a few hundred times, it's asking somebody at the gym what they use as their, recovery drink, or, hey, I'm looking to gain mass, whatever it is. I don't go to the gym anymore, but it's it's just such an easy approach. So it was something that I was like, it was a really hard thing to say no to. And even Sandra was just sitting there watching me. She's like, please say no to this. Please say no to this.
Like, don't take more opportunities, please.
Please stop. But it's, that it was a really hard thing to say no. But there's always more that come out there. And I think just because I knew him as well and knew him as a friend, and your connection to him, it was like, more vested and wanting to see him succeed. And it was just, more of like I can really help this kid.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, like, me helping him is just taking away from the time of me helping my son.
Yeah.
And that's when it really boils down to when my son was born, that was the first time I stopped coaching. It was the first year of my life since, I was like 12 years old that I didn't have a basketball season.
Yeah.
But I realized it was like, I can either go coach some high school kids that I love, or I can spend time with my son.
Yeah.
Can't do both.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, opportunity cost.
Yeah. Except the opportunity cost gets much higher when it comes to family.
Exactly.
Like, it's, oh, I'm not going to sit in my bed by myself and watch anime. Or is it, oh, I'm not going to see my son. Right? Like, those are two completely different
Two wildly
opportunity
different
costs.
things. And one of the, it was actually a really good realtor that we met with, Chris Caldwell, gave us an amazing piece of advice that really resonated with me. He's a great guy. And he said he was like, someone told him, because he was climbing the ladder at Chase. And he said one of his mentors told him, he was like, there, when you're in life, we're all juggling multiple balls.
Yep.
And he's like, you gotta know that, he's like, there's like 5 balls, 4 of them are rubber and 1 of them is glass.
Yep.
And he's like, when you think of those, they're very easy to identify between, your work, your faith, your your health, I forget what the other one was, but one of them was family. And he was like, 4 of them will bounce right back. If you drop your work ball, it'll bounce right back the second you start working hard again. Like,
Yep.
you drop your faith ball, God will always be there for you. But you drop that family ball, that's a glass one. You drop it, it shatters, it's done.
Yeah.
So he's like, no matter what you're doing in life, just always make sure you know which ball you're dropping. And it's like, real estate and lending it's such a high stress industry. Loan officers got named to be a top 10 most stressful job in the country. Our emails are down today. Actually, they've been down since yesterday at like 4 p.m. And, the old me would have just been in an absolute panic, throwing a fit on calls with Squarespace and our IT company demanding fixes be done immediately. And then I'm just like, no, on this side, I'm like, if it's really that big of an emergency, like, they'll pick up the phone and call me.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing that's an emergency that can't wait an hour, a day. Unless somebody's like sitting at the closing table and the wire's not there or something like that, but we would have gotten a phone call about that.
Yeah.
So it's just truly understanding, like, even when everybody else is stressing out, you got to be that calm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, especially, leading the company now, it's like everybody looks at me to be that calm. And I think it's pushed me to mature in that way where it's like, you don't get to panic. Because if I'm the CEO and panicking, what's the rest of the company going to do?
Yeah. Yeah. That reminds me of, Diogenes, right? He was a philosopher.
Okay.
Back probably during the same time as Socrates, Plato,
Okay.
all those guys, except he had a way different philosophy on life. His philosophy on life was that everything was bullshit, people were stupid, and he was like, there's not really a point to anything. And one of the stories about him was, there was a city, I think Athens, potentially one of those cities, and they're about to be under attack by like some other city, and he's sitting there watching everyone go into a panic, just like, oh, we're gonna die, all this stuff, like everyone's just panicking. And so he starts pushing a boulder up a hill and then just letting it go back down. He does it again and then it lets it go back down. Everyone's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm being as useful as you guys panicking is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's true, man. It's so much of what we've been talking about, of just that, what is getting angry, what is panic, what does that solve?
Yeah.
It's so many people, it's like they just don't have, I'm not saying that I'm perfect on it, but it's just like having that good control over your emotions.
Yeah.
Just don't get emotional, don't make emotional decisions. It's even when we've had we're going through some crazy growth, and we're kind of in the mindset where we have a chance to truly disrupt an industry.
Yeah.
And you can't expect to disrupt an industry without the industry fighting back.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not like a $10 trillion industry is going to be like, oh no, a 33-year-old's going to come like mop the floor with us. Like, no, they're going to fight back and fight to keep the status quo and keep things the way they were.
Mm-hmm.
So now as we're starting to grow and get some of that pushback, it's one thing I've really started to do is like, we've had some really, really intense moments and heated conversations. And then it's just become no good is going to come from this.
Yep.
It's, we can talk internally, we can blow off steam to each other, and then it's like, cool, nobody's going to send an email for the rest of the day, nobody's going to send a text, nobody's going to make a phone call. We keep it internal, let tempers cool down. That good old, like, write the email that you want to write, delete it.
Yep.
But it's do something like that and then come back the next day. It truly is, and it's hard to be able to say, like, I'm not going to make an emotional decision right now when it's like in the heat of the moment, like, to be able to recognize that. And that's where, like, DJ has really come in, being the psychologist of the group and just being like, all right, guys, how about we all calm down?
Yep.
Like, and he really is kind of that, someone that, like, that North Star, that true calm, that center of the company that, between him and Calvin, I really kind of resonate with those two guys of, like, those are the guys that know how to stay calm under pressure, and no matter what's going on around them, just, this too shall pass. And one of my old friends that I used to work with, Brandon Schneider, he always had the saying of "It's always sunny above the clouds."
Yeah.
And it's I had one of those moments where it was like, man, when you're in it, I was just in the shit, and it was just everything that could go wrong went wrong. I was like, God, dude, this is just, I need a sign, like something has to be coming from all this good. And I think it was Jocko was the one that was like, said every time, it was like his dad was like, every time something bad happened, he was like, good,
Yep.
good, and just, kept that mindset of it. And then so I was trying to have that mindset, but when you're in the shit and you just kind of keep getting kicked when you're down, and I just kept trying to hear myself. I was like, God, I'm getting so stressed. I'm going back to my boy's mantra of "It's always sunny above the clouds," and then I'm just losing my mind. I click the car to turn it on and come to work, and then the song comes on by the Beatles, "Here Comes the Sun,"
Yep.
and it just, it's hard not to even just like break down and cry, just like, okay, like it's gonna get better. Like it is always sunny above the clouds. It's just and it's so funny, man, because now it's like, that whole saying of when it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
It goes both ways.
Yeah.
And it's like, Dean was the one who said, he's like, congratulations, you're in the blessed rain. And it's, we were talking to another high level executive at another company that we're in talks with, and she just said, she's like, congratulations, you're in the gold zone.
Yeah.
She's like, I've only seen like 2 people ever enter the gold zone. And she's like, I can't believe I'm in your presence. I'm honored. And because she was just able to recognize it right away, and we're developing our relationship. And it was just seeing that now that's what we're just running around like, we're gold zone, baby.
Yeah, yeah.
It's, that's where we're in it, of just now how do we stay in the gold zone?
Yeah. How do you keep it going?
And that's where, I don't know.
Yeah.
We're just banking on do the right thing. Just eat the frog, just take the shit, just, keep calm and just keep trucking along, and just pray that it continues.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it has been for a while now, so but even then it's like, the whole motto is always being that duck on top of the water, and just having those feet kicking like crazy underneath it, but staying calm to the outsiders.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, and you're talking about kind of just leaning into the fear, leaning into the discomfort, just keep it going. And one of my friends was talking about the way that cows react to storms is that they run away from them.
Yep.
But the way that buffaloes
Be the
react is they
buffalo.
run
Yep.
straight through it. I just love that analogy so
Yep.
much. And what you were saying about the referrals, that's actually one of the best pieces of advice I've ever gotten from you, is just, who do you know? And
Yeah.
then sit there. And I tell it to all my friends all the time. It's like, it carries over to everything, be it business, be it relationships, be it anything you ever want to accomplish. There is probably the right person that you're going to meet like 3 referrals away.
100%. Like, I've built my entire business where it's like, I don't have social media really. Like, I have a Facebook where it's like my wife tags me on stuff. I
Yep.
don't really post. I have never spent $1 on marketing. I've never spent $1 on advertising.
Mm-hmm.
It is 100% word of mouth referrals. And now it's like, as we're growing with all these real estate partnerships, they were like, well, how are you going to expand into other states? I'm like, referrals.
Yep.
Like, what do you mean? Like that the referrals can only take you so far. I'm like, no.
Yep.
Like, referrals can take you everywhere.
Yeah.
It's I was like, top producers in other states. So now we're in talks with people in Minnesota, South Dakota, Texas, California, Nevada, Florida. Like, we're now already starting to expand into all these different states
Yeah.
solely from referrals,
Yeah.
because it's just learn how to ask for a referral, sit there, let them think, take it, run with it. And it's so funny, like, you even mentioning like that's such a thing. I was like, the second you even put that, like, that who do you know, my brain starts racing, and I'm just like, God, who do I know that I can introduce you for your podcast? Like, just starts flushing through. I was like, oh, I don't know, Don Quick.
Yep.
He's a district attorney. He's like the head of, I think he's the like head legal authority for like Broomfield County now.
Yep.
Matt LaCrue, who's a good lobbyist. Like, my brain just starts racing. Like, who can I introduce you to?
Yep.
You should, dude, we got to get Jaden on the podcast so you can, he built up Mile High Lifestyles, one of the top 10 real estate teams in the entire state.
Yep.
So it's just that power you trigger to make people think about, how they can help you. And it's at our core, like, we all want to help each other.
Yep.
I don't think there's anybody that really is just innately like, I want to see you fail.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't believe that. Like, everybody deep down wants to help others.
Yep. Yep. And with along with that, I was on the phone with one of my friends yesterday. I was like, I'm trying to get really cool people on the podcast. Do you have any advice for me? And he sits there and he's like, well, everyone wants to feel good about themselves.
Yep.
It's like, and how do you make people feel good about themselves? Well, they feel like they're giving back. They're giving to the community. So literally just ask someone for advice. What was your journey like? What was your experience? How did you learn that? And people are like, oh, I get to help people. I get to feel good about myself for doing that. And you don't even have to give them money. You can literally just ask them for advice and make them feel good about themselves.
God, now that you even mentioned that, it's like when you talk about it's different levels of opportunities that you have to let go. Going back to that, like, one of the hardest things for me is like it's the power of no is amazing, and I suck at it. It's something I really need to get better at, because I know I overcommit. I know I say yes to way too many things, but it's like, hey, there's a lot of it I just can't help myself, because I see people that come to me asking for help, and it's like, how do you just outright say no?
Yeah.
Somebody comes to you and is like, hey, can you help me? And you have the ability to help them, and you have to say no.
Yeah.
Like, that's hard as shit.
Yeah.
And I have no idea. I have no advice on how to do that, because I'm just terrible at it. I'm like, I'll bend over backwards. I'll just figure it out, and I'll apologize to my wife. But it truly is like, now it's like, I have a lot of people who are looking to get into the industry, and they're like, hey, could you mentor me? I'm like, no. Like, as badly as I want to say yes, it's like, David Mackin is probably one of the things I'm most proud of in this world. And it has nothing to do with me, but it's like, he just took the advice and he ran with it. But I gave him really hands-on mentorship. But then he did the work. And it's like, there's nothing more I love than seeing how successful he has become and continuing to grow. I'm just like, how do you not want to do that more? Like, how do you say, like, I don't want more of that? I don't want to recreate David. And it's because at the end of the day, it's just that would take away from us growing.
Yeah.
It's sad that it's hit that it's like, that's too small of an impact.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, like, somebody told me, they're like, oh, I could probably get you 10 to 15 minutes a month with Matt Ishbia. And as excited as I am, I immediately was just like, damn well he doesn't have the time for that.
Yeah.
It's as respectful as it is, and as honored as I would be. It's just that it's almost just like me understanding to him, like, almost feeling like I don't want to take that from him, because I know that's 15 minutes I'd be taking from his family, or I'd be taking from something else that he's trying to grow. So it's, it's so hard continuing to grow, that it's like, the second your podcast starts getting a lot of traction, everybody's going to be hitting you up. Hey, can you help me with my podcast? You're like, well, that means I'm going to spend time working on yours and not mine. Like, yeah, but I know you're going to be like, of course I can help you.
Yep. And you're just stuck in that game of playing, helping other people while also trying to build your own thing.
And then it's just the hardest thing, where it's like, you say no because you just don't have enough time, or the sacrifices you're going to have to make for it. And now you've created someone's villain origin story because you turned them down.
Yep.
And now you're a jerk to somebody because you prioritize yourself and your own lives over them. And it's just so hard, because we're all people pleasers.
Yep.
Like, I know you are just as much as I am. And it's trying to help people. Because again, now we're going back to the help 10 people a day. It's like, but no more than 10. Like, you have to,
we're capping it right there.
Yeah, no more. Nobody else can get help.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, at a certain point, you have so many people coming to you for help that it's like, you have to decide which avenue you want to help in, right? And for example, your business, it's like, I'm helping people through my business, but you're also getting external requests for help, and you're like, but I can do more impact in my business. But you can't explain that to someone who you're telling no to.
No. But there are the exceptions to the rule that get made. Like, we love this kid, Carter Gregory. We love this kid to death. He's going to come back and work here. He calls me out of the blue, and he says, he's like, hey, I want to be an intern for you. I was like, absolutely not. Like, you're still in school. He lives in North Carolina. I'm just like, dude, no. It's just a no. Calls me back the next day. He's like, hey, I want an internship. I'm like, dude, like, I could not have been more clear. Like, respectfully, like, we don't have that position.
Yep.
Calls me back like a week later. He's like, all right, so I'm booking my plane tickets. I'm going to be out there. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, the answer is no. Like, we don't have that. Like, I legitimately don't know what you would be doing.
Yep.
I was like, you'd be shadowing? I have no idea. We're not doing it. Calls me like a month later, and he's like, all right, man, I just got in here. When's my first day? Like, I can start on Friday. And I was like, I genuinely don't know what you would be doing here. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you have to know. The answer's no. Shows up to work. Everybody's like, who is this? I'm like, I guess we have an intern. I don't know. Like, they're like, you can't do that. You don't have time for an intern. I'm like, I told him that.
I can't get rid of him. He's in the office.
Yep. So now he's hired. It's he shows up
Tenacity right there.
It was literally I walk out of the office. I was like, all right, man, like, you can show up. I have a meeting. I don't know what you're gonna be doing. You're gonna be shadowing people. I have no idea. So I go leave for a meeting. He's sitting on the couch, and Cassie looks over at him, and she was just like, did Mitch really just like hire this poor kid and just abandon him on the couch with nothing to do? And she was like, I'm sorry, like, who are you? He was like, I'm the intern. Like, she's like, did Mitch like give you any kind of like tasks or direction or anything? And he's like, well, verbatim, he said, I don't know what you would be doing, but if you want to come hang out and shadow, I guess. So he's kind of living up to the expectation, and I don't really know what to do. And then she just cracks up. She's like, am I allowed to like leave him alone in the office? Like, like how are we in this position? Like, what is going on here? And then sure enough, like 2 days later, I was like, hey, how about this? Like, go get your NMLS license. That's something for you to do. He finishes the education in like 2 weeks.
Yep.
He's like, yeah, I scheduled my test for next week. I'm like, 3 weeks in, he's like, all right, I passed my test.
Yep.
So how can you teach me how to go like find loans? I'm like, dude, no. Like, how are you doing all this? And it's sure enough, he's like, then he comes back, he's like, so I got to this networking event, so I got a loan in. Like, can you help me put it together? I'm like, oh my god, like, yep, we can do that. And I'm like, that's the perfect definition of like how you turn that no into a yes.
Yep.
And now it's like, he really is. He's moving from North Carolina back here when he graduates in December. So next month he graduates. He'll be here in January, and we're hiring him full time.
That's crazy. He won't take no for an answer.
No. And now we're like, he's gonna come work here, and I'm like, we don't have room. And he's like, that's fine. I'll take a little corner of Connor's office, and we're like, all right, Connor, he's your like,
you can have him.
yeah, it's your problem now. And it's but it's like, you know, one thing that we always joked about of like, what do you need to be successful in anything you do? And it's like Ricky Bobby level irrational confidence.
Yep.
If you have that
Shake
level
and bake,
of
baby.
hell yeah, like that, I wake up in the morning and piss excellence. If you have that level of irrational confidence, you can do anything. And then Carter shows up. We have no idea. Just coming in here crushing it. He's already has like, I think he has 1 or 2 loans under contract right now while in school, while helping Connor build out our broker matrix. Like, kid ran a painting business because he was just like, he's like, saw the opportunity. And again, was what we talked about, the opportunity. He was like, he was in North Carolina. He's like, storm hit. Everybody's deck is torn to shit. So we just go knock on doors like, hey, I'll repaint your deck, $1,000.
Yeah.
And they're like 800. He's like, done. He's like, yeah, I'd show up and I'd spend the entire day and I'd paint their deck and make $800. I'm like, how do you not hire that kid?
Yeah. Yeah. You have to hire him.
And we're so blessed. We're so lucky to have him. We're so excited for him to be here. But it's like that irrational confidence and that just willingness to just, you know, I'll outwork you.
Yeah.
And that's what you know, Matt Ishbia, like one of the big things he really talks about was you know, he said everybody else had more resources than him. He's like, you know, he always compared himself to like Rocket and Flagstar and all the big banks out there and all the big mortgage companies. And he was like, you know, I don't have the same resources. I don't honestly have the same intelligence levels as a lot of these guys. He's like, but I'll work harder.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know, I learned, I think he was saying, I'm probably going to get it wrong, but he was like, you know, if I set my alarm an hour earlier, he's like, I get an extra 2 weeks of work every single year.
Yeah.
So he's like, so I set my alarm 2 hours earlier. So now that man wakes up at like 3:30 in the morning.
Oh, God.
Dude, is like in a suit and tie, showered, shaved, in the car. He's like 22 minutes from the time my alarm goes off until I'm in the car every morning. And he's just a machine. Like, and then he says, he's like, I put my minutes against anybody's minutes in this country.
Yeah.
So he's like, so you might be smarter, you might have more money than me, but if I'm getting 2 more hours of work in every single day, and I'm more efficient with those minutes. I don't take breaks. It's like, you give me 10 years of an extra month a year. He's like, I'll catch up. I'll get there. I'll beat you. And there he is buying the Suns and stealing my dream. It's and that's where it's like, we had, like I said, we had some fun back and forth, some banter, and I pulled a prank on him, and had him sign the jersey. He was such a good sport about it, and we told him we're so blessed and grateful to have him being such a supporter of us. And he just spent money to fly out. Our account executive, our AVP Rocky and Tatiana came out of here, and I don't know if you got to meet them or hang out with them at all, but they came out here just fully to support us and our growth. And they recognize our vision the same way others recognize Matt, and it's just passing that opportunity along. And it's just been so much fun, man.
Yeah. No, you've done some pretty amazing stuff. It was really cool just watching you start out 3 Point Mortgage. You had maybe 2-3 employees when I met you, and you were like, "This is gonna be huge."
Yeah,
You were telling me
we had at one point we were down to 1. Yep. It was just David and me.
Yep, it was just you two. We're sitting there
Yep.
having beers, and you're like, "This is gonna be massive.
Oh yeah,
It's gonna be huge.
I'm gonna buy the nuggets."
Yep. And then you'd give me business advice while I was working on my startup.
Yep.
And I'd be like, okay, this guy seems like he knows what he's talking about. And then just watching you take all the advice that you were giving out to me and doing it. Every single thing you said, you were doing it. And now seeing that massive success, it's just been so cool to watch.
I appreciate that, man. It's so funny. Like, I battle with imposter syndrome like no other.
Yeah.
It's I very, very much view myself that I am just this very normal guy.
Yeah. Even right before this podcast, you're like, "Oh, I don't have anything to talk about. I'm a normal
dude."
dude."
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I still think, I'm like, we didn't talk about anything real. We didn't talk about anything serious. I'm like, you compare this episode to your other podcast. I'm like, I'm sure you're getting way more out of all the other podcasts. Like, I still believe that right now.
Yeah.
Because it's just I'm just at the end of the day, man, I'm just a grinder.
Yeah.
It's even from the basketball days, it's when I started playing, and again, it's so funny. You got to look at everything in hindsight. Like, I can't believe I got cut as a freshman. Man, I didn't start playing basketball seriously until I was a freshman in high school, and I shot the ball like it was a soccer ball because I was a soccer player.
Oh, God.
I was like 6'3", 110 pounds soaking wet, and I couldn't bench the bar. And I was just the most uncoordinated human being alive. And I'm like, I can't believe they cut me. I'm like, I sucked. Like, I would have cut me in hindsight.
Yeah.
How was I so mad at them? I was terrible.
Yeah.
But the same thing was just like everybody else is going out partying, and it's like, I'm in the gym. I'll work harder than you.
Yeah.
And that was one of the biggest things that my uncle taught me. My Uncle Henry sat me down and was like, I was dating a girl, and he was like, "Are you going to marry this girl?" And I was like, I'm 14 years old. Like, probably not.
Yeah.
And he was like, then why would you waste your time and money on this girl? He says, you said you want to play basketball in college.
Yeah.
What's more important to you? Playing basketball in college or dating a girl? I was like, playing basketball in college. He's like, I think you have an easy decision to make. So I broke up with her.
Yep.
I went to the gym every single day. I thought I was so cool because homecoming came. I was in the gym.
Oh,
so
God,
cool.
Dude.
Prom. Didn't go to prom.
You were the guy in the gym who was fighting demons.
Fighting big demons.
Yeah.
It's just not good enough. But it was just it was just that level of work ethic. And then it's so funny, man. We got to fly out. My best friend in the world, Darren Lockett. We were in Disneyland, and we realized he took me to a completely different level that I didn't even know existed. Because I was a hard worker, but he just unlocked this level of ungodly work ethic that's just who I am. He had such a ridiculous upbringing, and he ended up moving in with me at my grandma's house, and I would wake up to the sound of just him doing push-ups. And I'd walk out, and I just it's like 6 a.m. I walk out, and I just see him doing push-ups. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And he's like, I got 20 push-ups stronger than you this morning. You suck. And then I was like, oh my God, fuck this guy. All right, fuck that. I'm going to go do push-ups. So I dropped to the ground to start doing push-ups, and he just falls to the ground. He's like, nope, you're not going to get stronger than me. And then it's we go to practice that day, and it was the funniest thing. We get there. So we start, coach says, miss a layup, everybody in the gym drop and do 10 push-ups.
Yeah.
So I do 10 push-ups, and I look up, and Darren's still doing fucking push-ups. And I look back at him. I was like, why did that take you so long? He's like, I did 16. I got 6 push-ups stronger than you today. I was like, oh my God, like, you've got to be kidding me. Like,
You won't stop.
No, I was like, bullshit. So then all of a sudden it was like, coach would be like, all right, miss layup, everybody do 10 push-ups. Him and I would literally just be cranking out push-ups, staring at each other until the coach was like, you morons, like, what are you doing?
Everyone thought you were having some weird romantic thing going
Probably
on.
something. Yeah, they said, they're like, oh, your boyfriend's not here. I'm just like, oh, Darren, I know he's sick today.
Yeah.
But it was just like, he came over, he's like, will you guys stop?
Yeah.
And I was like, you tell him to stop first. And we're just still going. We pop up, and then eventually, then it was like other people on the team started catching on.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, Damo, Willie, all these guys started doing it, where it was just like, coach was like, do 10 push-ups, and we're all just like doing it. Eventually he had to stop. He's like, all right, 10 seconds of push-ups because you guys are idiots and you won't stop doing push-ups. We have shit to do. So it's we'd pop up and everybody just say how many they got. And then at the end of the day, we'd be like getting Darren would like keep count of how many push-ups he did versus everybody else. So then everybody else is like, you know, drying off, getting changed, and he's just like, nah. Damo won today. He did 7 more push-ups than everyone. So he'd like drop down and do like 8 push-ups real quick. He's like, I'll be damned if anybody's gonna get stronger than me today.
God.
And then like just that insane level of competitiveness and just pure like it was like when two people that both refused to be like, I'll never let anyone outwork me. Yeah. And he was the same way. So you put us living together for a year, and it was just. It really just unlocked something where it was like, dude, we had 6 a.m. yoga, 7 a.m. Pilates, went straight to the weight room until 10, went home, ate, came back, went to track conditioning, then went to practice. Then the second practice was done. We would go find another gym to go work out at. Mm-hmm. And then the second we were done with that, we would go to my uncle's house for a pool workout. So we were legitimately working out for like 13 hours a day. Dude, it's been like 2 months. Can we like take a day off? And he was like, you are so soft. Like, it was just like this, you know.
Constant devil on your shoulder.
Yes. It was like, and then one day we were like, all right. It's been like 90 days. Let's take the day off. And then it hit like noon. And when you put guys like that were working out like 13 hours a day for 90 straight days, it's like noon and we're like, all right, fuck this. And it's like we just went straight to the gym.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like, let's just do a light workout today.
Yep.
But it's, you know, I owe so much to him because he just unlocked that completely. Like, it doesn't matter what's hurting. Yeah. We're all hurt. It doesn't matter what's going on. And that's where when we were joking earlier, right before we started, it's like, oh, something's going on. You're depressed. You have anxiety. Work harder.
Yep.
It's, anything happens. It's like nothing can't be solved with hard work. Yeah. It's like hard work is the trump card that beats everything.
Yeah. Yeah. The harder I work, the luckier I get. Feels weird.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's, I find that a lot of entrepreneurs, high performers, people who are striving for a lot of times have a chip on their shoulder from something they got. Like, do they just have a memory of something happening to them that made them just want to work harder than everyone else? Did you ever have a moment like that?
For sure. I think there was an element in my upbringing, like there started to be the feeling of like not being good enough.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, I gotta somehow, some way earn parental approval kind of thing. So I always had that little bit of a chip, then getting cut from the basketball team, then, you know, coming back from surgery, then meeting Darren. And I was already a hard worker, then just being ratcheted up to just completely different levels. I think there was that chip. And then getting turned down by 10 different mortgage companies,
yep.
Begging for a job out of college. It was hard, man. Like, I mean, you've experienced it, but you never mind. No, hell no, you didn't experience it. You didn't
got a job out of college.
Yeah, you got it right out of college. You had your job lined up, so you didn't go through that, man. Where it's like, man, interviewing sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know how many job applications I filled out, interviews I went on. You know, I wore the same suit every single time, and I never washed it. That definitely had no impact on me not getting hired.
That's
but it was
disgusting.
You wear an undershirt, like, well, come on, it's fine. But dude, you're 20.
That's why you work for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But it was just that, you know, I didn't have money for dry cleaning. Crazy. It's expensive. You could either go to get your suit dry cleaned, or you can go to Chipotle. So it's, that's where I just spent so much time, where it was just getting just denied left and right. And then it's, you know, my startup going bust. That sucked, but you know, it just, you learned a lot. I got to, talk high level with a lot of really, really smart people, and just opened me to new experiences and that kind of thing, and just really kind of test the boundaries of like what you can actually do if you put your mind to stuff and actually learn how to do things. And it's like, just get out of your comfort zone. So it's, um, and then for sure, like, everything that happened, me having a fallout with my mentor, and that chip that got put on my shoulder. I mean, that'll never go away.
Yeah.
Between that, I already have my work ethic, and then you add that in, it's over. It's
Yeah.
There's nobody in this country that I would not stack my minutes up against,
Yeah.
because you can come shadow me for a day, you can come work out of here anytime you want, and it's like it's funny, like DJ Connor, they all know, like, if I call them and they don't answer, they can call me back like 4 seconds later, and I'm not answering because I'm already on to the next call.
Yeah.
And they're like, damn it, I missed him. Now I got to wait 45 minutes until he's off that call, and maybe I catch him again.
Yeah.
But it's like, I am just like, there's no wasted minutes.
Yeah.
Because I learned it's like that. The pursuit of happiness, where he's just like, I learned if I don't have the action of hanging up the receiver, if I just go straight to the next phone call, I can get like 12 more phone calls in a day.
Yep.
It's like, that's the kind of mindset where it's like, I've just been working at that clip with, it doesn't matter if I'm sick. It doesn't matter, like, I've had COVID. I had hand, foot, mouth disease, which is like, only babies should get hand, foot, mouth disease unless like an adult is under extreme stress and their immune system is at like an all-time, like, absurdly low level. Then they could be susceptible to it. I got hand, foot, mouth disease and was still just cranking away. I was like, all right, I can't go anywhere, so I guess I'm working from home because it's crazy contagious.
Yep.
But it was just that, there's just nothing that's going to stop me or slow me down. It's like a stack my minutes again up against anyone, and that's where it really just, it compounds over time. That's what Kobe always talked about, that he was like, you might be better than me right now, but with me continuing to work that much harder, he's like, eventually, if you're here and I'm here, but I'm working that much harder, eventually I'll catch up, and then I'm not going to stop, and eventually I'll just surpass you.
Yep.
It's just, that's the mindset, man.
Yeah. Yeah. After everything we've talked about, do you have any advice for young people going to college, looking for jobs? Maybe they want to start their own business. What advice would you give to those people?
Man, so much. The biggest one is like, people forget to budget. I mean, when you're starting a business, I've seen it happen way too many times, even in this industry, where it's like, people don't understand how to budget.
Mm-hmm.
So it's being very, very conscious of that, and understand your expenses, understand your cash flow, have a base level of accounting knowledge, if you're really going to go into the entrepreneurship route. Because, like, I mean, even all the equipment you bought in here, it's expensive. Like,
Yep.
it adds up very quickly.
Yep.
And you got to understand, like, the how long it's going to take you to get your money back. So it's, being able to stay conscious of that. And then, there's nobody on this planet that can't teach you one thing. So it's, go into everything with an open mind, where it's even if you don't love that subject, even if you don't love that professor, it's like, they still do know more than you on that one subject. Because that's the one thing I really learned. I'm like, I used to judge, like, a teacher. I had an ego in like high school, and I was like, oh, I'm so much smarter than this teacher. I'm like, okay, but that teacher's smarter than me on that one subject, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Like, but I didn't see that in the time. So it's, understand that kind of concept on it, and just don't be afraid to take risks. I see way too many people taking that, base level entry, safe, cushy job. It's almost, it just feels like a trap in today's world, where I'm like, just go bet on yourself, and just go find a skill, bet on it, and just go obsess over one thing, and put your damn blinders on, and don't try and do 11 things.
Yeah.
It's, go find one thing that you're passionate about and go all in on it. It's that good old Ron Swanson quote of, don't half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing. Like, it's so funny and simple, but it's true. It's just, when you put that whole focus and attention into one thing, at least give it that full effort. at least give it 6 months, a year, something like that. And then if you give it 6 months and you're at, 90 episodes on your podcast and you have 4 people watching it, okay, maybe the podcast sucked.
Yep.
If all of a sudden it's the, holy crap, I'm battling Joe Rogan, shit, man, congratulations, you might be onto something. I'd love to be a repeat guest.
Yep.
But it's that, take that chance. Like, if you're passionate about it and you enjoy this, go bet on it and go hard. Go learn how to promote this. Go learn how to push it out. I can actually introduce you to some marketing people that are coming to mind.
That'd be great.
But it's, go all in on what you're passionate about and just bet on yourself, but stay conscious of the budget.
Yep, 100%. No, I think even with this, it's I guess it's hard to put in all this work into something without seeing any type of return, right? Like, and that's the scary part
Yep.
when it comes to taking risks is, oh, I could just do this for a year and nobody ever listens to it.
Yep.
And like, sure, maybe down the line, 3 years down the line, people are listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point in time, I don't know what the future looks like,
Mhm.
right? So I have to put in all the upfront work, the money, all of those things without having any promise of anything in the future.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing with anything, right? Like, I go to the gym tomorrow and I don't see any results. Should I quit?
Yep. You should.
Everybody's just so quick to quit. It's
Yep.
You got to give it the time. You got to let it succeed. And it's like, I firmly believe in, like, if any human gives 100% effort to one task, they can be successful in it.
Yep.
They just fail too quickly or they give up too quickly. It's just have that, and they just don't have that work ethic to say, to obsess over it and be like, there's nothing you're going to do that's going to stop me from being the #1 podcaster in the world.
Yep.
Like, you have that mindset going into it, and it's you obsess over it. You learn, how do I get my, content out there? How do I grow this channel? How do I get more guests? How do I draft off them? It's all of a sudden you start getting some people on the podcast that you can draft off of their audience. That's how you truly grow, in my mind. Like,
Yep.
So it's, you interviewing me. Damn, bro, I don't really have that big of a following.
Yep.
I appreciate you. It's an honor to be on it, but it's going and finding those people that you can really grow with.
Yep.
So it's, for you, what's the next, what is your plan with this podcast? What are the goals?
I mean, right now it's just stick at it for a year.
Okay.
Do as many episodes as I can during that time and just get really good at podcasting, because I can't expect to be an overnight success without first just acquiring the skill, get better at interviewing, get better at drafting the questions, get better at get better guests. Like, all of these things are higher profile guests. Like, all of those things don't just come.
Right.
Like, I have to work at that. So I guess that's the goal in the midterm. And in the long term, it's, become one of the top podcasts on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, all the platforms. Like, top 100, if not top 10. And so, I think a lot of it just comes down to having vision, knowing that if I take it seriously, if I treat it professionally, that I will get there.
The biggest thing, man, and I guarantee, I bet this accelerates it like no other.
Yep.
Every single time you end a podcast, you gotta do this for me. I'd say even do it on camera. Ask them, who is somebody that you know, who would be the best person in your contact list that
Yep.
I should interview? Who has the biggest audience that you have? Who do you think would be the coolest person you know that I could bring on the podcast?
Yep.
It'll grow like crazy.
Yeah.
I bet you skip so many steps.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've got some pretty good, decently high profile guests in the pipeline through referrals. So
There you go.
So that's actually been, like I said, the most valuable piece of advice that you gave me was the referral. Just during that same day after the interview, who do you know that would be on the podcast?
Put them on the spot. Do it
Yeah.
live.
I'll do it live. Yeah.
Do it live and put them on. And it's, it's amazing the names that'll come out. I guarantee it, because especially it's a funny thing where it's like even me thinking myself, it starts going through. I'm like, ooh, I could potentially drop this person's name. And I'm like, wait, I don't know if they would actually be willing to do that. But it's you're going to get people to name drop people like, wait, how do you know that person?
Yep.
And it's like, I guarantee it'll start spiraling out. And it's like, because, you know, I have some crazy people in my contacts list, but then I'm like, you know, I haven't talked to them in 10 years, so you're probably not going to be able to get in front of them. But it's the, you know, there's other people, like when you talk about Jaden, when you talk about DJ, like you talk about how it seems like everybody's like 1 or 2 steps removed. I remember when we talked about your startup, and it was like I was like, you know, you're connected to so many famous musicians, right?
Yep.
You're like 2 levels away at all times from just ridiculous levels of talent.
Yep.
So it's the same thing in this, where it's just like, just go ask.
Yep.
But put their ass on the spot.
Yep. It's a good tip.
I know so.
Yeah. But as we close up the podcast, we have a tradition
Okay.
on the podcast. It's called Carrots and Sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Every time that someone comes onto the podcast, the last question we ask them is to, what is something within the next 2 weeks that you could do to live more courageously? And obviously we make it specific, achievable, all the smart goals type of thing. But the ethos behind it is that even people who are really successful, who are high performers, really do struggle with fear, with limiting beliefs, with all of these different things that come in, and everybody's got something. So we always ask the guests to think of a challenge for themselves.
God, that's the funniest thing. Of maybe this is the only time where it's like I'll let my ego show, but I'm like, dude, I don't have any limiting beliefs. I swear to my depths of my soul, I believe everything is possible.
Yep.
Like, I truly believe I am going to buy the Denver Nuggets.
Yep.
Like, Kroenke might not sell it, so I might buy the Hornets, like I said. But I will buy an NBA team in my life.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that. And it's fear. It's a funny thing that it's like, you know, from my time in Cerritos and Long Beach, and all my teammates from Compton, it's they taught me that phrase of, you know, I fear God, and it's I fear God and God only.
Yep.
So it's, you know, you live that life with no limiting beliefs, no fear. The thing I know I can really do better, and it's something that, you know, what's really kind of happened to us, and I hope you see the same level of success. Like, our biggest fear now, I guess if we have one, is being crushed by too much success, by growing too fast, because you can absolutely lose by growing too fast.
Yeah.
So it's the biggest thing that we always constantly push off is that pipeline management, that data management of, like, you know, throwing everybody in that CRM. Like, we're really, really good with that for our clients, but as far as, you know, everyone that we're in talks with, of, you know, partnering with, it's like, how do you keep all these straight? And when everybody's referring it out, and you just have so many referrals because we keep asking for referrals.
Yep.
It's the craziest thing is, like, when somebody gives you a referral, they are then like 200 or 300% more likely to give you a second.
Yep.
So it's all of a sudden like people that we asked for one referral have come back and given us a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth. But we've put out that spider web, and it's just going in so many different directions. So it's the biggest thing I'd say is, like, you know, for us, that SMART goal is to be able to, you know, get everything hyper organized. And we were just talking about having like a leadership summit for the team, and just kind of bringing them in and being like, guys, we got to keep them all straight. It's awesome that we're growing as fast as we are, but if we don't keep every single one of these straight and dialed in, it's like, cool, we talked to 50 people, but we only closed 1 or 2 because we just try to do it all too fast, too quickly. So it is that beautiful thing of being, you know, crushed by success, but limiting beliefs, come on.
Yeah.
It's, you know, that it's there's no point in having any limiting beliefs or fear.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you still have limiting beliefs?
Definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
I mean, I have them all the time. I'm probably the meanest person to myself other people aren't mean to me. I'm more mean to myself than anyone else. Like, I wouldn't call them limiting beliefs, but it's more like just like an ambient fear of random things, and it comes up sometimes. It's like you were talking about, the feeling of not being good enough, right? And just like pushing forward on something, I'll see some success, and it's like, oh, I haven't done enough. Like, and it detracts from my life in that mentally I just am never happy with myself.
Oh, man, you can't be happy with yourself. Just work harder.
No, I know, but I work harder, and I still don't. I achieve the goal, and then I still don't feel happy with myself.
Exactly, but then you just work harder even more. That's the vicious circle that, you know, I hope to rub off on you, but then it's hard. Like, I know people have told me, they're like, you know, that sounds exhausting. That sounds horrible, that you're never fulfilled, you're never happy. And I'm like, Yeah, no, it's a real battle. That it's just the, when you have that level of just pure no fear and no limiting beliefs, it is like it is a crazy thing that I'll say, like, that means you're never happy. That means you're never satisfied. That means you never celebrate the moment. And I know those are things I really struggle with because I don't have those. So it's like, even when we hit an achievement, I'm like, that was coming.
Yep.
Like, that's a certainty. So then it's just like the constant feeling, like you said, okay, you win a championship. I want to win. Okay, who won the most? I want to win more.
Yeah.
It's, what's the high? We found out who it's Ent Credit Union, who's the most highest producing lender in the state of Colorado.
Yeah.
Year to date, they're like 1.3 billion. I'm like, give me 2 years.
Yeah.
Give me 2 years. I'll beat the crap out of them.
Yeah.
And then it's okay, 2 years from now, I'll be the largest in Colorado. Give me 4 years, I'll be the largest in the country.
Yeah.
And that's where you just have that mindset where you're like, I'm going to do it. It's a fact. Because I know I'll work harder than anyone and more efficiently. What happens when you combine that work harder and work smarter?
Yep.
So it's when you constantly hit that level, and that's where I'm like, I truly believe I'm just a guy that I work harder than you.
Yep.
Like, that's what it all boils down to, is just that so many people are just afraid to put in the work.
Yeah.
And you can't get away from it.
Nope. There you go. I guess the final closing thoughts is, you talked about suffering from success. What would that next 2 weeks look like to bring that in and not suffer from too much success or get crushed by it?
Absolutely. Getting that, we use Pipedrive for our CRM. So have our Pipedrive 100% dialed in with, every single person we have talked to, every realtor, every potential joint venture, every potential affiliated partnership, every potential loan officer that we've talked to, go through our leadership summit and build out that entire list of everyone that we know, flush it out, and build that strategic plan so that it's because if you don't, it's the same thing. Like, I know we talked about a little bit, but it's like, you still have to go in with a plan. And I know that is something that, we're not perfect at. That's somewhere where we can for sure improve, because, there's some times where it does feel like, we're just going in there and it's like, cool, I'm just going to work out, at 1,000% intensity. Yeah. But if there's no true defined plan behind it, you're not accomplishing as much as you can. So it's, we do need to take this, and it's so hard to take that step back to like slow down to speed up.
Yeah.
So it's that's what I would say is like, truly get all that 100% dialed in, so that we can, but then, you're asking me to slow down.
Yeah.
It's hard to slow down.
Yeah. But you can accelerate faster if you slow down a little bit.
I hear you.
Yeah. But
I appreciate that.
Who do you know that would want to come on the podcast?
Largest
following.
Yeah, Jaden Hanson for sure.
Okay.
Because he has, I mean, he's been amazing for us, and it's like, Jaden has no ownership in 3Point.
Yep.
He doesn't get paid anything, but he has opened up so many doors for us because he sees us and he sees our vision and he believes in us. So he's been unbelievable in the doors that he's opened for us, and truly one of my best friends now. DJ, you gotta have DJ on. He's just amazing. I have such a man crush on him. It's my work husband. That it's, that's my partner for life. And he truly is. He has a lot of connections too, but he was also just he's such a wealth of knowledge. Honestly, Connor would be a really good one too. You can go through a lot of the 3Point family where it's like, Connor, he got promoted like, it was something ridiculous, like 8 times in 6 years at Comcast.
It's crazy.
Like, built out revenue models for us that, I think he single-handedly changed the way Comcast does some analytics and reporting.
Yeah. When
he was like 24 years old.
Yeah.
Kid's like I said, he's 29. He's an absolute genius, and we love him to death. And then when I think of people kind of outside of this industry, next time you're in California, I can introduce you to Darren, and you can hear his version of, what it was like going through it. And a lot of those, again, it's just continuing to open doors. And then if you want to get into, and it depends, like, when you think of your podcast guest, is it truly just interesting people? Like, what's your kind of target of who do you want to talk to?
There's no necessarily niche of person. Like, we talk to entrepreneurs, we talk to philosophers, we talk to researchers, talk to anyone who I think is interesting, has value to share to the target audience, and is also on board with the values and the mission of the podcast.
Okay. Now, there's quite a few people I can introduce you to, and it's, and again, you just got to keep it going. 'Cause it's like, I've always been the guy that knows the guy.
Yeah.
So I can introduce you to the guy, and they know the guy.
Yep.
So it'd be cool to see, what doors they can open.
Yep.
So it's, I can get you in front of a lot of people that know a lot of people.
Yep.
I just don't know them.
They're close though.
They're close.
Yeah.
Second level, baby.
Yep. Cool. Well, thank you for coming on, Mitchell. This was
I
a great
appreciate it.
time. This was awesome.
All low, brother.
Yep.
Appreciate you.